Hi guys, Dave from Dial Quern here. Today I'm going to talk about a very interesting question that was put to me by a gentleman called Charles, who's been writing to me, been enjoying my videos, and wrote comments at the bottom of the videos, and then we just started writing emails to each other, and he's told me some fascinating things. He's been practicing Wing Chun since the 80s, which demands respect from anybody who's been that dedicated. He went away from it for a little while, and he's come back, and he was just telling me that the ideas I've been putting forth in my videos have really helped him, which of course makes me feel great. That's the whole point. I'm here just to pass on what I can to help my Wing Chun brothers and sisters to improve, as I'm always seeking to improve myself. And he told me a story about how he'd been always feeling very tense in his way he stood, in his stance, and just never seemed to really relax. And he said applying what you suggested in the video made a huge difference in the quality of the form in terms of relaxation and linking mind with body. For the first time in forever, my shoulders are in place with no tension. I actually felt, in capitals, what Chu Tin mentioned as a sensation in the back of the head as a result of thinking upwards without trying to force posture. So that's a huge breakthrough once you can start to feel these almost intangible things. That's a door opening to greater and greater feeling. And as I've mentioned in my What is Sil Nim video, the very best, one of the very best explanations of the word Sil Nim seems to be don't think, feel. And that's about we don't think with the conscious mind, start to feel, enter a world of feeling where you're not thinking, you're feeling. Anyway, Charles went on to tell me a fantastic story about standing in his garage where he works, a mechanical garage, and holding a cup of coffee, and he'd been practicing what I'd suggested, which is to do the forms in the mind. I'd said how Sigong Chu Shong Tin, I was told that he did that. He would, if he was bored or just for the sake of it, sitting somewhere, he would do Sil Nim Dao and perhaps the other forms in his mind. And then Charles was saying that he did that for a full day, and then the next day, standing in his garage, he had a cup of coffee, and he just thought books are coming out, and then the hand of the coffee just followed it. And he said my coffee cup and arm moved forward to sit in that shaped space. There was no struggle or extra tension felt, as it was almost effortless. That's when I was about to physically make my spine straight, and I heard your words, a reminder to think up. As I did this, a sensation rushed from the tailbone into the back of my head. It was a tingle followed by a fullness that infused not only the spine but also the back of the head. This same feeling made itself present in my arm as well. I was also fully aware of my entire body. And then he thanks me for sharing my information. And in an earlier email, Charles had asked me if I would, said I would like to ask you a question about both Tai Gong and Nim Lik. How would you explain both of these terms to someone who has practiced Wing Chun for a while, would like to further focus in order to get the best out of the practice? Thanks, Charles. I'll do my best to talk about that issue. So, the words Tai Gong, very important words that Sigong often use. My Sifu Jim Fung always talks about Tai Gong, and I have explained in, well, I'm not sure if I made a video about this in my Wing Chun Mind Force page at Facebook. I've talked quite a bit about Tai Gong. Like other things, other mysteries in Wing Chun, I've researched it, trying to find what the answer is. But the best answer, and the answer that I've been given by my teachers over the years, it's not about squeezing your anus. or even trying to draw it up. It's really just an awareness of it. You don't have to physically do something. Say g'day to your butthole is one way to put it. Just becoming aware of it, and then becoming aware of your whole spine to the top of your head. And that's what Qigong calls Sing, to expand the spine and connect it. Connecting is the really important word. It's what we're doing is we want to connect our whole body as a one unit, and that's what starts to release the power of the mind state that's called Nim Lik. Now, with Tai Gong, it tends to be taught that you nip the anus and that you drop your coccyx down. So drop that coccyx bone down and the hips sort of turn this way and relax downwards and upwards. Now, some people put quite an emphasis on doing that physically and in getting into a stance, measuring out the stance, sort of coming forward into the stance over the knees and sort of just feeling that's turning under. Now, I think for beginners that's a good idea because, well, it gives them a bit of an idea what's supposed to be going on. But as with everything else in Wing Chun, because it's driven by the mind, we really want to let things happen naturally. So the way I see it is that you just stand, you're aware of the end of your spine, which is where your hole is, and feel that spine up to the top of your head, and it is connecting to the brain, and it comes up through the spine into the back of the head, and sort of the conscious mind's out the front here. The thing that I do, and has worked well for me for years, is I imagine that my spine goes to the floor. And that's an idea that as soon as I think that, I feel really long and I feel very unified, and I feel that my hips do just sort of melt downwards, sort of like they just turn a little bit. It's like the tension goes out of the legs. To me, that's one of the huge keys in Wing Chun to this whole body state, is to get the tension out of the legs. Which brings me to a subject that's a little bit difficult to talk about, only because so many people are very strong about it. But I was taught the stance, as I said, measure out your stance, feet pointing in towards the point. In the front there, your opponent's centre line, connecting your centre line, a wedge shape. These are all good ideas. But I found as I advanced in my training, my teachers started to say to me, look, you're not supposed to just stand in that all the time. The stance is not that absolutely necessary that you're in that shape. Just stand in a relaxed way. So I've followed that over the years, and I've had it confirmed. And Qigong's writings, he says, his son Horace, who I greatly admire, says that Qigong says in the end there is no stance. Now, whether you want to believe me or not, it's up to you, but I think the most important thing is the Tai Gong and Sing, where the spine builds up and straightens and expands, and relax the legs. And for me, I just imagine the spine dropping to the floor, and this is a thing I'm going to talk about a bit more in hopefully an interesting way, an Australian way. But imagine that coccyx is not a little short tail, it's actually a long one. You probably know that the little coccyx bone at the end of the spine is a rudimentary tail. If you believe that evolution's scientifically true, which I do, then our ancestors a long time ago had tails, and when you have a tail, that will go down to the ground. And I find when I think like that, I get that feeling that you're supposed to get, whereas if you're sitting on something, like a lot of people say, sit on a stool, feel like you're just relaxing on a stool. And I sort of relax on a tail like an Australian kangaroo. And that's just something I've been thinking a lot about. You don't have to think like you're a kangaroo, but if you think about your spine's really long, you feel your legs relax, and you know, you just want your legs to feel light and alive and relaxed, not stiff and formal. The last thing, this is a thought that came to me through an experience one time where I was rolling with my teacher, and we were doing chi sao, and he was putting a lot of force on me, and then suddenly, like just a revelation, I went from from this to this, and I basically stood up. I straightened up. I actually stopped leaning, and something I don't like about the stance idea at an advanced level is that it's got just a little bit of trying to be strong, trying to use your muscles and your body to a structure, something to take the force, where I really think the key in Wing Chun, at least done internally, is to completely stop trying. Stop trying to be strong, stop trying to be, for it to make sense, because it doesn't always make sense when you feel the relaxed force, the soft force. It sometimes just seems uncanny, like how can that be working? But when you stand up straight, really relax, and stop sort of doing kung fu and just stand there, I feel my spine sing, and I really do feel it connect up to the top. I feel it connect down to the bottom. So I'm going to talk more about this because this is an important subject to me. I think it's a subject. It's just a small idea, a little idea, but it's made a big difference for me. And I'll talk more about it. But Tai Gong, become aware of the end of your spine, connect it, feel it connect, and it's just a mental connecting. And then feel that connect to the ground. Go down. Now, some people don't like the idea of rooting into the ground. Me, I don't have so much of a problem. That's other Wing Chun schools teach that, and I find that quite a cool idea, like being like a tree or something, rooted in the ground. So, you know, I think the main thing is you just let all the tension out. So just imagine your spine being really long, going to the ground, and just let go of trying to be strong and feel that connection all the way. And that's where Nim Lik, which is just the force that comes from this relaxed body-mind, the Nim Tao, the present mind, the mind that's here in the present, not in the future, not in the past, not worrying, not concerned about things, just that state, combined with this connected body, they all work together to become one thing, which is basically this secret inner power that we all have, and that we can all learn to express and develop, and it is something that can be developed to an extremely high state. So I hope that's of use, and look forward to my next video about... Thanks guys, that was it. The video just stopped on me for some reason, just the end of my rave, but yeah, I hope that video made sense. Please ask me questions at any time or suggest things that you'd like me to talk about. I've been asked by lots of people to do things like talk more about the dummy. You know, I'd like to talk more about Chum Q and Bill G, forms that really often puzzle us. What's the point of them? What are they about? What's the lesson within those forms? The knives and the pole, I'm big fans of. I know a bit about them, and I'd like to pass on whatever I'm able to with that, and we'll see what happens. But my next video is going to be very Australian, some secrets of Kung Fu that I've gleaned from kangaroos, and this is actually started by a friend in New Zealand who wrote to me and sent me some cool pictures. I think he's from New Zealand. He's one of my Facebook mates, but anyway, it'll be about kangaroos and Wing Chun. Kangaroos and Kung Fu. Okay, see ya.